It's breaking news. Gunfire in the Jenin area in the West Bank on Tuesday evening. Palestinian media is reporting that one person has been killed and 2 injured in an apparent Israeli airstrike just a short while ago. Now, the 2-day IDF operation has been targeting terror infrastructure. 12 Palestinian terror suspects have been killed so far. Weapons and equipment have been recovered at several sites, including hidden inside a mosque. The situation is developing, so let's go to our correspondent, Pierre Klochendler. He's at the Jalameh checkpoint in the West Bank. So a range of developments right now. Reports that the operation is ending. Also, a range of reports out of Jenin, a gun battle heard near a hospital, and now an apparent airstrike. What is confirmed? Pierre, what can you tell us?
Yeah, I think it's a very sensitive moment at this point of time. We've seen convoys of about 10 armored vehicles getting out of the combat zone, crossing the Jalameh checkpoint. We've been kicked out of the Jalameh checkpoint because it's a closed military area. And from time to time, we see convoys of 2, 3, 4 armored vehicles going out. Now, it's a sensitive moment because that's exactly the time when Israeli soldiers are vulnerable. And as a result, there's been heavy exchanges of fire. There's been an airstrike by a drone on a vehicle, on a Palestinian vehicle carrying 3 gunmen. The Red Crescent is telling us now that 2 of the 3 people have been killed and 1 is critically wounded. That puts the toll of the Palestinian gunman killed in this 44-hour operation to 13, according to the Red Crescent and the Palestinian Ministry of Health. Now, the Islamic Jihad is calling its militants inside the refugee camp of Jenin not to believe the reports that this is the end of the operation. They say it might be a ruse in order to uncover those militants, to get them out of the street and neutralize them. And as a result, there's a lot of tension at this critical point in time. It's a sensitive moment, not just for the Palestinians, but also for the Israeli soldiers.
Certainly a range of conflicting reports we will be following to see exactly what unfolds. We do know, though, that earlier on in the day, Hamas had praised that terror attack in Tel Aviv, even calling it heroic. It said it was a response to the operation in Jenin. What else is known about the reactions out of different terror organizations and Palestinian leadership on this day?
You know, yesterday there was a major rally in the center of Gaza City, and one of the Hamas officials, Mushir Masri, said that there will be an action in Tel Aviv. He was calling for an action in Tel Aviv, and somebody heard him and perpetrated that act of terror in Tel Aviv this afternoon. So the Hamas, Islamic Jihad, are just praising and supporting verbally their militants inside the refugee camp. They're calling for mobilization in the West Bank, and we've seen scuffles in the West Bank. We've seen incidents in the Shwafat refugee camps on the outskirts of Jerusalem, in the southern West Bank, in Gush Etzion, in the block of settlements nearby. There's been demonstration, violent one. We've seen mobilization all along the 44 hours. But in terms of Hamas taking the lead into combating Israel or launching rockets, we haven't seen that. And it seems that Hamas is just trying to export the violence by calling the people in the West Bank to engage the Israeli army, to engage the Israelis, be it in the West Bank or in the Israeli cities. Now, there's going to be a security beefing up of forces inside Israel as well, because as the police commissioner Yaakov Shabtai said earlier, we expect that there will be terror attacks as a result of the operation. Now, the Minister of Defense, Yoav Gallant, said something a bit intriguing. He said this operation is going to allow us more freedom of movement, and we're going to be able to enter Jenin more easily in the future. But there's been almost daily or nightly raids into Jenin for over a year now, and it seems that has not abated the Palestinians in terms of their will to fight the Israeli army. Hence, what the army discovered, hundreds of improvised explosive devices, a lot of weapon caches, money, a lot of control room labs fabricating weapons, a lot of stuff that was uncovered during this 44-hour operation. And it seems that there's a lot of things still to dig and excavate inside Jenin.
Pierre, as you well know, Palestinians in the Jenin area tried to launch 2 homemade rockets at Israeli towns around a week ago. Those were failed attempts. Any clarity on where these rockets are being assembled? We know some equipment was found inside a mosque. What else is known about the kinds of efforts to build weapons inside Jenin that are underway? What has been uncovered so far from this IDF operation?
Hundreds of explosive devices, a lot of chemicals to create explosives, a lot of Iranian technology involved, lots of weapons, M16s, machine guns, labs to manufacture weapons, operation rooms, control rooms with CCTV cameras spread along these small alleys of the refugee camp of Jenin in order to monitor the incursion by the Israeli army. A lot of organization, a real web, a real structure of terror inside the refugee camp of Jenin, that's for sure. Now, whether Israel has managed to completely clean the refugee camp of Jenin and its vicinity from all those weapons, probably not. There's a lot more probably hidden in tunnels, in shafts, in pits, under the roads. The bulldozers during the operation scrapped the tar of the roads because they were some sort of landmines beneath the tar that would provoke explosion by remote control. So it's very sophisticated, a lot of weapon and a lot of sophistication in that in the apparatus of Islamic Jihad, Hamas in the city of Jenin.